welcome to Thorn the Toxic Fox's advice, and I decided to do a video on suiting and fursuiting for the new suitors out there, and I got a whole list here of things that I want to talk about, and some of this stuff may come common sense, and some of this I've picked up from just kind of being a suitor and kind of learning it on my own, and advice from other suitors and things like that. And not all of these rules apply to every fursuit, but this is how I personally care for my suit, and sometimes suit makers will have their own care instructions for their suits, but this is kind of a good place to start, and if your suit didn't come with instructions, maybe this would help you. So the first thing I want to cover is, well, the types of suits. If you don't already have one, there are 3 types of suits. Well, there's more than 3, but 3 basic ones. You've got the partial, which consists of your head, your tail, your hands, your arm sleeves, and maybe feet. And some of them don't have arm sleeves and some of them don't have feet. So that's a partial. Plantigrade is an entire bodysuit that has no padding in it whatsoever. And it consists of the head, the bodysuit, the hands, the feet, the tail, and all of that. The digigrade, which is what I have, has the full bodysuit just like a plantigrade, except for it has padding in the legs and the hips and sometimes the butt. Mine doesn't have padding in the butt, but she has padding in her legs. So for those who don't own a suit and maybe are looking, those are the kinds of suits that you can get. And there's some variations, like 3/4 suits. Some of them come with just a shirt that's fur, and some of them come with legs that are fur. So there's many different ways you can go with it, and mix and match and all that kind of crazy stuff. And me personally, I can full suit and I can partial because I have the arm sleeves and all of that. So that brings me on to, once you get your suit, what are you going to do with it? Hopefully you're not going to just throw it in a box or throw it in a closet in a wad and just kind of leave it there, because that would be no bueno. These suits are rather expensive, so you want to know how to care for them properly. The first thing I'm going to start with is how to wash your suit. And there's certain care instructions for certain parts of your suit, like the bodysuit. For the most part, you can put a bodysuit in the washing machine if it has a low agitator on it, a little short one instead of a real tall one, because otherwise it'll try to tear your suit up, and you don't want that. You don't want your suit tore up and stretched. The hand paws and the sleeves. Same premise with those. I personally am able to put my bodysuit, my hand paws, and my arm sleeves all in the washer, and I'll explain the washing process a little bit better here in a minute. The feet paws, for the most part, you have to spot clean those because there's foam in them, and you can't just throw them in the wash because they'll get all icky and moldy, and you don't want that. Kind of the same idea with your tail. I've heard some suitors wash their tail, and I'm all for it if you're able to, but I'm kind of icky on washing my tail, so I tend to spot clean it because it doesn't drag. I don't have a big, huge tail that drags, so I just spot clean mine. And my head. Do not submerge your head in water. If you have hand-painted eyes like mine, you will melt the paint on your eyes and you will no longer have a suit head, and it'll get moldy and nasty if you submerge it in water. So, also, just like the feet paws and how I do my tail, is I spot clean it, and I'll get a little further into that here in a minute. Alright, the how to wash my suit. The water temperature when you wash your bodysuit or any part of your suit, it needs to be cold cycle. Why? Because if you run it too hot, it will melt your suit fibers, and then you'll have a matted mess suit, and it'll never be the same again. All right, soap. You want to use a gentle detergent. I myself use Woolite, and I've never had problems with it. I actually like how it makes my suit real soft and real clean, and that's very important for me because I like having a clean suit. Drying your suit. Do not, and I repeat, do not put it in the dryer. Same premise of putting it in hot water. It will melt the suit fibers, you will ruin your suit, and that will be the end of it. And like I said before, these suits are very, very expensive, and you don't want to ruin them. Okay. Oh, back to the drying before I move on to the next part. When I wash my bodysuit, I take all of the padding out of it. I flip the bodysuit wrong side out before I put it in the wash. And my hand paws and my arm sleeves, I also flip them wrong side out. I stick them in a pillowcase, tie the pillowcase, and throw it in with the bodysuit. And then just wash it as normal on cold cycle. And then when I take her out of the wash, I flip her back right side out, and then I hang her up. And then I will, while she's still damp, I have a really big fan that I use for drying my head when I'm at conventions. But it's this big, big yellow fan right here. You can pick them up. You can pick them up at like Lowe's or Menards or Home Depot or any place like that that's kind of a hardware store. And I'm knocking stuff over. But yeah. When it comes to washing your suit, you gotta be really careful. And like I explained earlier, you take cold water and you might put a little bit of soap on it and you'll spot clean like your face and your feet paws and other parts that you can't submerge in water because they are foam. And if you wash a foam body part, you have a very good chance of it getting moldy. And that fan that I showed you guys earlier, it does not blow hot air, it blows cold air. So it's not going to hurt your suit, and it's not going to hurt your suit head, and it's actually quite a lifesaver when it comes to conventions, and I'll talk more about that here in a little bit. But I point that fan at my suit, and I brush her out with a kitty brush. It's called a slicker brush. I will talk about this quite a few more times before this video is over. Brushes, very, very important. And like your nape, you can wash it. You spot clean your face and all of that. So that's about all I got for washing. And if there's anything that I don't cover in this video that you'd like me to talk about a little bit more or elaborate further on, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to either A, answer your questions, or B, when I make the next video, to answer any questions that I received on this video. So, alright, storage of your suit. How to store your suit. A lot of suitors would say that you want to hang up your suit so that it doesn't get all kind of icky up and kind of wadded up. But me personally, I cannot have my suit hung up out in the open because I do have animals and they do tend to want to chew on my suit because it is furry, and that's no bueno. And I don't want animals eating my suit. So me, I have mine in a very large Rubbermaid container, and it is placed very strategically in this container. Like, I have parts of my suit placed in there so that when I put my head in there, it's not squishing her nose or bending her ears or anything like that. So if you can place your suit very strategically, that would be best. And and when you do store your suit, if you're washing it and then storing it, make sure that your suit is completely dry because it is a breeding ground for mold and bacteria, and you do not want that. Okay, so how to suit properly. First rule of thumb is when you go out to suit, especially if you're a full suiter like myself, you want to wear Under Armour. And what it does is it's going to wick the sweat. Because if anybody told you you're not going to sweat, they're lying to you. So the Under Armour serves a purpose. It's going to wick the sweat away from your body and keep you a little bit cooler. And it's also going to prevent your sweat from wicking out onto your suit, which makes it really nasty and really smelly, and nobody wants to hug a smelly suitor. I personally don't want to hug a smelly suitor, so that's kind of the rule of thumb on that. Disinfecting your suit after you're suiting, and any other times when, or say somebody else tried on your suit and you're just like, yep, they kind of got my suit all nasty. But disinfecting a suit, very simple procedure. I'll admit that in my earlier career of suiting, I've been a suitor for about 2 years, and for about a year I actually did use Febreze to spray out my suit because it smelled good. Well, after kind of learning my lesson on that, I found that Febreze isn't actually meant to kill germs, it just makes your suit smell good. And there's all kinds of chemicals in it that you don't quite know what they do, and you really don't want them in your suit. So I have a solution here that is essentially rubbing alcohol and water. It's a half and half solution, and what you can do is after you're done wearing your suit, you can open up your suit and you can spray it on the inside and let it dry. It smells a little funky at first when you first spray it, but once it dries with no residue, no smell. And your suit also is bacteria free. So when it comes to the inside of the head, don't spray anything in or on your head, because with the eyes and the foam and all that stuff. So what you want to do is you want to take your amazing, simple, fancy solution, and you're going to spray it on like a washcloth or something, and you're actually going to wipe the inside of the head, because there's kind of, it's like an Under Armour hood that's underneath this that protects my face from my suit, from the foam rubbing on my face. So what you're going to do is you're going to spray that solution on the rag, and you're going to wipe the inside of that suit head out. And then you're going to put it on that big fan that I showed you guys earlier, and it's going to dry the inside of your suit head. And what I do after it's done doing that, I'll take a dryer sheet and stick it inside the head and tuck the neck in before I put her away. And it works really, really well because it keeps your suit head smelling fresh, and there's not really any solution. It just makes it smell good. Oh, something else important when it comes to suiting. Be sure you eat before you suit. Make sure, and I have a few rules on that. Before you suit, make sure that you eat a good meal at least an hour before, that you're going to drink plenty of water, and you're going to use the bathroom before you suit. While you're suiting, you're going to want to take plenty of water because you will get dehydrated. You are going to sweat, no doubt in my mind. And make sure that you take breaks every so often. Don't try to marathon because it's not good for you. And if you pass out and somebody calls 911, the paramedics are going to come cut you out of your suit. They don't care how much it costs. They're going to cut you out of your suit, and you don't want that. So take breaks. I take breaks about every hour to an hour and a half, and 2 hours at the max in ideal conditions. But I wouldn't really try to go any longer than that. So, alright, handlers and spotters. This is very important. A lot of, not a lot, but quite a few suitors do not have handlers. They don't think they need one. And it's okay if they don't think they need one, but they've probably been suiting a while, and they know their limits and what they need to do, and they know that if they need somebody, they can get a hold of somebody to help them. And me personally, I have a handler. I've been in that situation where I do need a handler. Essentially, a handler or a spotter is your voice while you're in suit. If you're one of those suitors that doesn't talk when you are in suit, having a handler is a really good idea, because they're kind of looking out for you and your well-being, and they're also kind of serving as a second set of eyes. I can't see behind me. Like, I can't see until I'm about here with my hands, and I can't see below my nose here. So my handler, personally, he's kind of like kid radar. If there's kids coming up behind me, or if they're coming up in front of me and I can't see them, he'll kind of inform me that there's a kid there, so I can kind of look down and see him, because normally I wouldn't see him, and you don't want to step on a kid. And I'll elaborate on suiting around kids a little bit more. So, your handler is essentially your lifeline to safety, and handlers should not walk in front of you. because they can't see trouble coming up behind you. They kind of want to walk a little bit behind you and kind of off to the side so that they can see what's going on. And kind of establish it with your suitor on, like, if you guys want to learn to do a little bit of sign language to each other. Say you're not a talking suitor and you want to convey something to your handler. Kind of work out a system like the universal one, the fanning of the face. It means I'm hot. I probably need to take a break. I'll scoot a little bit closer for the rest of them. But another one, and every suitor should know this and every handler should know this. It's the crossing your arms across your chest and going like this. It actually means in sign language, it says, I am in distress, I need help immediately. And if you see a suitor doing that and you're not in suit, or if your handler sees another suitor doing that, tell them to ask the suitor if they're okay, if they can help them. Because you don't want to see another suitor pass out. Another one that I've used is kind of rubbing my throat. It means I'm thirsty. What time is it? Because sometimes I'm in a rush to a panel on the way to a con, or at a con, so what time is it is a popular one for me. So I'll scoot back again here. And well, your handler is very important if you choose to have one, and if you don't have one, at least have a friend nearby so that they can kind of help you if you need it, because suitors are kind of dependent people. Well, they can be, they're not always. Okay, convention tips, what to take with you. First thing I would make sure you have in your suiting box is multiple sets of Under Armour. Firstly, because you don't want to wear one set all weekend. And me personally, I have at least 5 sets of Under Armour when I go to a convention, because sometimes I'll change them more than once in a day. Like when I go from full suiting to partial. Very important that you change your Under Armour and have a new set each day at least. Oh, your disinfecting spray. Make sure you take this with you. You do not want a stinky suitor. Nobody will want to hug you. You will be known as stinky. The dryer sheets for the head. Very important as well. And the head fan that I showed you guys. And if you guys don't have a head fan, because they are a little bit pricey, I think I paid like 40 to 50 bucks for mine. And if you don't have a head fan, at least stick a dryer sheet inside your head and put them on a wig stand. Yay, wig stands. I usually use my wig stand for after I've brushed my head and my neck and stuff out really good. I'll put her on that so that it doesn't get all messed up again. Okie dokie. Other advice, take multiple showers. Take a shower before you suit. Take a shower after you suit. Or if you're going from full suit to partialing, shower in between. You're going to use a lot of water, but it's at a hotel. Who cares? Take showers, and a lot of them, because you will feel gross. Brush your suit before and after wear. When you take it out of the box, brush it. Once you take it off, spray your disinfecting spray inside of it, hang it up, brush it again. Brush your suit a lot. I cannot stress that enough. Brush, brush, brush. There is such thing as brushing a suit too much. If you pull out the hair, it does not grow back. So kind of use your discretion on that. I say brush before you wear, brush after you wear, and brush when you wash. That's good rule of brushing. Suiting tips. Performing in a suit. Okie dokie. We're back to the performing around kids. One rule of thumb that I use is if somebody walks up to you and says, "Here, hold my baby," while you're in suit, kindly turn them down, because you don't want to hold kids. Hand paws are very cumbersome. Therefore, you have really, really good odds of dropping somebody's kid, and it's going to make them very angry at the suitor. So, and kids tend to like to explore the suitors. They like to poke at them and stuff like that. And that's another reason to have a handler. Like, I've had kids absolutely assault me. They've pulled my tail. They've kicked me. They've tried to And that's when your handler steps in and says, hey, that hurts them. You don't want them to do that. I mean, it doesn't really hurt, but you still don't want a kid tearing up a suit that cost at least $1,000 to have made. So suiting around kids, you do have to have a little bit of patience, but you also have to know how to interact. You don't want to just kind of, like if a kid comes up to you, you don't want to just kind of push them down and say, get away from me. You kind of want to find a way to politely get away from them, or have your handler step in or something. I've had instances where a kid has been beating on me and not even my handler could do it. It couldn't even get this kid to stop. And the parents thought it was funny. They thought it was hilarious that their kid was being beaten up on a fursuiter, and forgetting that I am a person in a costume. And I just don't think that's fair, and I wish that wouldn't have happened, but it does. So you just got to be prepared for the worst when it comes to kids. Okay, fursuiting in public venues is kind of a touchy subject. I would say make sure you ask your venue before you suit there, and kind of be prepared for anything that could possibly happen. And make sure you bring plenty of water, and make sure you take your breaks and all that stuff that I had mentioned before. Like I said about asking venues to make sure it's okay, it's not your God-given right to suit anywhere you wish, because that's not true. I personally have a story where I was kicked out of Walmart even after I asked that it was okay. I got the okay from customer service. I didn't get the okay from the guy in paints. So that's one instance where public suiting didn't go well. And I was at the park with my youngest sister at one point, and I was suiting there, and I was playing on the swings and stuff, and I was playing with my little sister. I wasn't bothering anybody else's kids, and I did have the cops called on me. Fortunately, the cops didn't show up at the park. I was contacted after the fact, and I was told that if I wanted to come back, that all I had to do was tell them that I was bringing Thorn to town, and that they had something to tell people if they called and complained or asked anything about it. So ask before you suit, and not everywhere is suitor friendly. I've seen multiple suitors at Walmart. I tried it. I even asked before I went in. Like I said before, I got asked to leave. I didn't throw a huge fit, because I know it's not my God-given right to suit anywhere I want. That I kind of have to ask permission and acceptance and stuff like that. So with that, I'm going to move on to my next and final topic before my closing comments. Suiting at conventions. This is like the opportunity for you guys to have almost all of the freedom. I just don't recommend harassing like hotel goers that aren't there for the convention. And you are going to get asked things like, why are you wearing this? What's this for? Are you a mascot? And so on and so forth. And you'll find your own way to answer it. Just don't be rude to people, because not everybody understands it and not everybody's into it. So really, conventions are kind of your chance to be kind of free and suit and all that stuff. But at the same time, be careful. People do tend to forget that you are a person in a costume, so they tend to hug you, and some of them will pick you up and swing you around, and it really hurts. Me and a couple of other suitors that I know, we have bad backs. Glow Sticks has scoliosis, and it hurts when you hug him roughly. And me, I've been in a car accident, and I've owned horses for years, and I've been thrown off of them, I've been kicked, so my back's not the best either, but don't pick up suitors and swing them around. It's not good for them, it's not good for you. So really, performing at conventions is kind of sort of a free-for-all within a limit. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but it's but that's really what it is. You just got to kind of feel it out and figure out what you're capable of and what you're not capable of, and so on and so forth. Okay, and my closing statements. I really hope that this video helped some new suitors or people considering on getting suits, that really what I wanted to accomplish here was suiting is super duper fun, but there is some responsibility behind it. You don't want to just buy a suit and then just throw it in a box somewhere, because that's not treating your suit well, and that's not a good way to treat an investment, because suits are an investment. You invest a lot of time and energy into them. I mean, it takes me hours and hours and hours to clean my suit because I care for her. So she's like a part of my family, even though she's an imaginary character and she's an inanimate object, she's still family to me. So if there's anything that I didn't cover in this video that you would like to hear, or maybe there's something I did kind of brush over but didn't give you enough information on, I'd like for you guys to leave a comment below, and I'll elaborate on it for you, and I'll leave the link to my fur affinity and all of that information for you guys, so you guys can get a hold of me a little bit quicker. So with that, I hope that you guys enjoyed my video and it was helpful, and sorry it was kind of humorless, and it seemed kind of harsh, and I hate for it to come out that way, but like I said before, owning a fursuit is a big investment, and suiting is taxing on the body if you don't know what to expect. So I really hope this helps, and I hope to make more videos, and I really hope you guys give me suggestions on what you guys want to hear or what you guys want me to talk about. And if it's something that me personally, I haven't ran across, I'll research it. I'll ask other suitors. It'll be a learning experience. I've been a suitor for 2 years, and I love to learn new things and new tips and tricks and stuff for caring for a suit. And a lot of this that I talked about in this video, I picked up over the couple of years I've been a suitor. Well, I'll quit rambling now, and I'll let you guys enjoy your evening or day or whatever time of day that you guys are watching this. For me, it's pretty late. It's like 1:30 in the morning, and I figured I'd put this video together for new suitors and maybe people who have been suitors but not quite sure on some tips and tricks and all of that. So you guys have a good night. Be sure to leave me some comments and spread the furry love, and you have a good day.